Yeah. Yeah.
And no. Oh, yeah. It's your number. Okay. I don't know what that is. You started. It's true. Do you think she's rich?
Call for the Warwick Township Supervisor meeting for March 17th. Say the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Supervisors, that executive session, we talked about real estate, about matters. They have an approval of the minutes on Monday, February 7th.
Motion to approve the minutes on Monday, February 17th, 2025 towards.
I'll second. Any questions, Rob? All in favor? Al, announcement?
Yes, thank you. The 30th annual egg hunt will be held at the Warwick Community Park, the park here at the Township building, on Saturday, April 12th at 1 p.m. Egg hunts will be available for kids ages 2 to 10. Fishing for the bunny will be available afterwards. Registration remains open for the 14th annual Spring Cleaning Flea Market on Saturday, May 4th. And for more information about either one of these events or events throughout the whole year, please visit warwickrec.com.
Thank you. Citizen comment, let's give it a break.
The only question I have is, back when Pico was in Sovereign Estates and stuff doing all of the work, they were trying not to dig through the lovely newly paved street, which was beautiful. They had to dig through it, and they put like a temporary patch, and we were told, as residents and stuff, that they were coming back to fix it and put like final, make it nice and pretty again. When are they doing this? Now this weather's getting nicer.
So it would be a little bit longer, it'd be
Okay.
another couple months, that's what they wanted to do it when it actually gets warm.
Okay, so
Really?
summer-ish.
Right, early summer.
Okay,
But, I can follow up with Pico and get more of a time frame for you, and that's a
yeah, because it'll end up cut access to the whole course when they, because it's right that far.
They generally do it in a way, with
Yeah.
flaggers to keep traffic.
Well, it would be that it's just to the cul-de-sac and stuff. It's just, I know a lot of kids like to go down and play, and that's nice. I just want to have an idea of when I can and cannot send my kids down, and also when I'm gonna have construction equipment in front of my house.
Understood.
Okay,
Okay,
and yeah,
Al, back to you.
thank you. Okay, first item on the agenda is a resolution 2025-20. It's a recognition of the retirement of Detective Corporal Fox. At this point, I'd like to read a resolution that's been prepared. This is a resolution of the Warwick Township Board of Supervisors recognizing the service and retirement of Detective Corporal Paul Fox for the Warwick Township Police Department. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Warwick Township issues this proclamation in recognition of nearly 37 years of service to Warwick Township by Detective Corporal Paul Fox. And whereas Detective Corporal Paul Fox has been an essential component of the Warwick community and has been instrumental in furthering the mission of the Warwick Township Police Department. And whereas since joining the Warwick Township Police Department in July of 1988, Detective Corporal Paul Fox has served as a patrol officer, patrol corporal, detective, detective corporal, crash reconstructionist, field training officer, and crime scene investigator. And whereas a tremendous amount of work and commitment is required to reach this benchmark of public service. Therefore, be it resolved, the 17th day of March 2025, the Board of Supervisors of Warwick Township officially recognizes and applauds the commitment of Detective Corporal Paul Fox for his nearly 37 years of service and wishes him well in his retirement. At this time, the board may entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
Make a resolution, any questions? Make a resolution motion for adopting the resolution 2025-20, recognition of the retirement of the Corporal Fox.
Second. All in favor?
And next, Chief Goldberg will be presenting additional accolades.
Thank you. As you said, Paul has, he served Warwick Township Police Department since July of 1988. He listed all the different things, his different assignments that he excelled at throughout the last 36 plus years. He has served with honor and distinction in all of these assignments. He and I were hired the same day. We've worked together for over 36 years. We've laughed together, we've cried together. And for 36 plus years, he served Warwick Township with maturity, dignity, and courage. I congratulate him on the completion of a successful career. I wish him good health, good luck in retirement. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
While you're here, there are some other people that would like to talk about how much we all love you. If Representative Brian Fitzpatrick is here. Another good deal of podium.
Good evening, all. Thank you for having me. Paul, just wanted to come out and not only congratulate you on a well-deserved retirement, but to thank you. So you started doing this job when I was in 8th grade. And 36 years is a long time to do anything in life. And being in law enforcement is a really, really tough job. It was tough when you started in 1988. It's probably harder now than it's ever been. A lot of challenges, a lot of unique challenges that face our law enforcement officers. And it is just so admirable. And as a lifelong Bucks County resident, thank you for keeping my family safe, our community safe. I hope that you're retiring or not semi-retiring. What are you doing? Retiring. That's good. That's the way to do it. And that you take time for yourself, for your family to enjoy a lot of the things that you didn't have a chance to do. But the most noble calling any of us can do in life is to serve a cause bigger than ourselves. And our law enforcement officers, many in the back of the room here, do just that. They put their physical health on the line, their psychological and emotional health on the line, all in the name of serving a cause bigger than themselves. So, Paul, congratulations on your retirement. We had a flag flown over the United States Capitol in your honor, had your name entered into the congressional record, making you permanently part of American history for your 36 years of service to our community.
Sorry.
Still behave, yeah.
And then we have from Senator Perry's office.
Your Fox, congratulations on your retirement. Nearly 37 years, that's pretty impressive. And obviously your roots run deep. So on behalf of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, from Senator Farry, and I do apologize if you could not be here today, but on behalf of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we also entered you into the Senate Library, meaning that you also become a piece of Pennsylvania history. So for years to come, when someone goes to, do a search on your name, you will definitely be a part of PA history. So we thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And also on behalf of
Representative Kristen Marcel, who unfortunately is in Harrisburg, doing the people's work, which I'm sure she's much rather be here with you all. Thank you very much for your service. There's nothing that I can say that can expound on what you said. Thank you so much. God bless you. Be safe. Be well.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the service. Over your. Thank you.
congratulations.
You know, we got wasn't done.
Oh, you are.
For our Bucks County Commissioners, they sent a letter to Dear Corporal Fox. As you prepare to retire, we, the Bucks County Board of Commissioners, thank you for your decades of service and for your steadfast dedication to keeping your community safe, and his dedication was steadfast. They then go on to recognize all the different things he's done for Warwick Township, and they hope that you enjoy this day, and we know that your community is a better place because of your service. We join all Bucks Countyans in saluting you on your retirement and wishing you many years of continued health and happiness. Signed, Robert Harvey, Diane Marseglia, and Jeannie Giraldo. So we'll close this, Paulie, again, by all I can say is thank you. I already miss you. And beyond that, words escape. Thank you for being with
I think it's also for even me not being there. But I do want to say that I was truly blessed to have been able to work with all these men and women, and we're Chief Goldberg. We were officers when we first started, and it's just been an absolute blessing to have worked for Warwick Township, and I was thankful for where I worked. So.
Now, at this point, we do have some other business-related items to address throughout the rest of the evening. I suspect some of you may not wish to partake in that, so we'll take a brief 2-minute recess, and then we'll get back to the agenda. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda, is resolution 2025-21. It's the DCNR Guinea Lane Playground Grant. We already have a grant in for this, but we, as is our tradition, we applied for several grants for projects until we obtained the funding. So township staff are preparing the grant application to fund the replacement of the Guinea Lane Park Playground. Over on the screen here, so we're going to have a copy of what the playground would look like. Grant submission requires an execution of a support resolution from the Board of Supervisors. So if the supervisors, like, will adopt this resolution.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to adopt the resolution 2025-21, BCNR, getting the town grant.
Any questions? I do have one comment. What do we do with the, is any of the old equipment worth saving, like we donated to somebody or anything, or?
Well, in the example, like the playground equipment that for the project that we're doing this year, it's predominantly wood, it's pressure treated wood from the nineties, so it's essentially valueless. So we just take it away from the demolition of the playground. The playground that's there, I know the one that's there currently is made out of metal. So it has like the potential like scrap metal, that could be, it has value in scrap metal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll second. All in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
Next is Jamison Ice Cream, 2140B York Road. This new business has a request for a signage change, and they are located in the Porter Overlay District. 2140 York Road, Unit B is the location of the former Mom's Florist. The shop would necessitate the signage change. This is the sign out on York Road near the gas station. And again, the sign is up on the screen here, showing the font and the words as the applicant wishes. Is there somebody from, okay, do you want to come up, sir? Sure. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Come and eat ice cream.
Love to eat the ice cream, but I have a question about the other part of the sign, the old part. Is there any way that the whole sign can be updated, so?
The bottom one is going to be updated. This is just, it's going to be letters to put the help wanted or anything like that.
Okay, so is the existing panel, or does it,
They're going to
is the
be,
new panel required to make the color scheme the same and show continuity?
if the color scheme is same, then he won't be able to see it. That's okay.
Well, yeah, no, I understand the background really well, I'm.
The bottom one, the white one you asking, right? Yeah, if you change the color, that standard come in the signage. It's a standard signage where you just,
I think our Robin's question is that part also going to be new? Because it's.
yes, it's going to be new. Yes, yes.
Okay.
So it will look.
The letters will be-
Okay,
All right.
We just took it for the
Good.
purpose because I don't know computer.
just, it's
So
for.
I think.
I'm looking forward to the ice cream.
We actually are excited about ice cream.
Yes, it's going to be Nina's ice cream, so.
Right,
We're excited.
okay,
Do I have a motion?
sure, make a motion to approve the Jamison Ice Cream sign 2140B York Road.
All right, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda is land development 25-02, Simple Investments. They're located at 2090 Meeting House Road. That 2090 Meeting House Road is including St. Cyril's and the new Jamison Place development. January 16th this year, Township received a sketch plan submission by Simple Investments. The applicant is proposing to build 4 buildings with 8 units. So it's basically 4 pairs of 2 twins. That is a B1A type residential development. Due to the relief requested by the applicant, the staff strongly recommend that sidewalks be extended from this property to the Jamison Place property, and that the full road widening and curbing again to match Jamison Place going towards St. Cyril's be installed as part of this development. But tonight the applicant is here to give sketch plan feedback. So I'll turn it over to the Edward.
Yes, thank you so much, Al. Hi, it's Dan Lyons here on behalf of the applicant. It's nice to do that for the board. It's been a little while, but I was here previously, a couple of years ago. It's part of that. Also here with me this evening is Kristen Holmes in here, and Dan Mulner, who is with Simple Investments. So Kyle did a little bit of background for me there as far as the project goes.
just want to add a couple things, and then I'll turn it over to Kristen and kind of go through the plan in a little bit more detail. But the property is in the C3 commercial multifamily district, about 3.3 acres. The B1A twin home use is a use that is permitted in the zoning district. The proposal as it is now, is by right, with the exception of some open space, which we might discuss tonight. Which a field is offered for that. We did have staff meeting, a staff meeting with a couple different proposals. There was a proposal for mixed use, there was a proposal for, flex space use, and all indications and kind of encouragement was to go towards a residential, by right plan, so that's what, Dan and Kristen put together here. In that light, and wants to work with the township, not against the township on this project, something that, everyone should be proud of here. And if you're familiar with this area, we can see more of that multi development next door, the new one going in, so we think this is a good use for this property here. But as I mentioned, is, by right with the exception of open space, so, with that, I'll turn it over to Kristen to kind of go through the plan mode and stuff.
Evening. So a quick summary of the layout of the plan that's before you. As you noted, it is twin dwellings. We do have 4 twin dwellings that are separated with individual lots and individual driveways. One thing to note here is that we do have for this use a requirement for a 50-foot perimeter buffer around the entire property. So that, as you'll see, is separate from setback. So that is simply reduces the building envelope that we have on the property. And that is why the homes are set so far back from the street, because the front yard setback is pushed back because of the buffer requirements along the frontage. So that's why we have the longer driveways here with the houses further to the back. So we are in compliance with the buffer requirements from a dimensional standpoint here, as well as all of the dimensional requirements for the individual lots for the twin dwelling use. As Dan noted, we did note open space as a fee in lieu on this plan. And I would say the requirement for the open space for this particular, based on the number of lots that we have at 8 lots, we are required 2.06 acres of open space. And one of the interesting things I think is it relates to this particular property is that the net site area is 2.8 acres. So really the open space requirement is almost 3/4 of the property itself. We did discuss open space at the planning commission meeting to talk through maybe some potential options. I looked at potentially putting open space within the 50-foot perimeters as an option to provide some open space. However, it does provide lesser lot areas for the twin dwellings that don't comply. So from a dimensional standpoint, a zoning standpoint, this allows for full compliance with all of those buffer requirements that we have. And some of these buffers are compounded because we have the 50-foot perimeter buffer and then also a class A buffer along the side. So we essentially have double buffers on some of those sides that are required as well as in the rear for this. We did receive review letters and I'm happy to go through them if you wish to do so. I think everything within them, a lot of those are some typical sketch plan type comments from the reviews. I know the open space was one of those comments, so it is certainly something we'd like to hear feedback on from the board's perspective. We do acknowledge the conversation as Kyle noted as it related to sidewalks and road widening. Those were one of the items we brought up as a request potentially for waiver at the planning commission would understand that's the township's request. Besides that, honestly, within the review letters, there are a couple things where I noticed potential waivers. One was the road widening request, but we already talked through that. Another is from the CKS letter, the lot depth to width ratio, and that this does exceed the maximum for that. And that I would say again is based on those buffer requirements. That's what's pushing the houses back and the lots in the way that they are. So we would like to request a waiver from that requirement if the board were amenable to that for this particular layout. But I think otherwise, as far as review letters, everything would be a will comply if it were to proceed. And I think we just keep looking for feedback on open space and the potential waiver requests.
All right, thank you. Do you want to start, Rob, or do you want me to start? So, we looked at a couple different plans for this particular site. So how did you settle on the 8 twins? Like, why did you settle on 8 twins versus 4 singles or 5 singles or something like that? Why did you settle on 8 twins?
So when we had the staff meeting with Township staff before we filed the sketch plan application, we did have a few different sketches with a few different uses. It was a suggestion for either duplex or twin as a good fit for this particular property. So that is where we went in that direction after that, to look at those particular uses just based on that feedback. And I do think it's a good fit as it relates to the Jamison Place development, to the rear and to the side, as it's surrounded by 2 sides of this. Is somewhat as a transitional piece here from that higher density to a slightly lesser density here than to the surrounding commercial uses.
Is there any possible way to eliminate 8 driveways?
So we did talk through driveways as well at the planning
That's
commission.
going to be crazy.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, one of the thoughts, there's a few ways, certainly, if you first look at it, you would think, okay, maybe a separate road or driveway that comes through, but the property is too small to have something work to that effect. What we talked about was doing potentially a shared apron for each unit that then splits to separate driveways as you go back into the lots, so that it reduces the driveways in half from what is shown on the sketch. It has one shared driveway at the street frontage, but then still splits so that the individual lots have their own.
One is a good question too, like, is there a reason why that is just in the works, or does that interfere with other compliance issues? Because that was one of my comments as well, could we reduce it down to 4?
So I think that would just trigger a waiver for having driveways 5 feet from a property line. Which is,
You have that problem now already with the 8, right?
well, that we could comply with, that's something that's a will comply, that as we move forward, we can adjust that to comply with. But if we did the shared driveways, we would need that waiver, because they would be over the property line.
But it would only be a shared driveway for a few feet in and then would split.
Correct.
Michelle, what do you think of that? Out of curiosity.
I like that idea. We just have to verify that you don't exceed the maximum length of the depressed curb for the driveway. If there's an ordinance requirement for that,
And then-
which may necessitate an additional waiver.
I'm okay with that. I'd like less driveways.
And I know as Brandon had mentioned at the planning commission that I think the Stony Road subdivision did that as an example, with the shared aprons and the split driveways.
I'm assuming there's gonna be a buffer between it doesn't show the trees on there between you and the Sage Sales property.
Yes, and this is just conceptual from a grading perspective, that we would do a full landscape and lighting plan that shows compliance with the buffer requirements.
Rob?
Well, that was my major one, the driveway. I didn't catch, you said that the road widening was understood, but where do we stand? I know that you recognize that as a request, but is that, I wasn't in the county, so I just wanted to hear what the plan is for the road widening and sidewalks. So to continue through, not just that frontage, but to connect the way Jamison Place.
So we have to discuss that, because I guess, we had some discussions and brief discussions after the meeting, but didn't make any formal changes to the plan, because we just wanted to come and hear your feedback as well before we moved forward with anything. We certainly acknowledge the request, and it's something we are looking at overall for this development if it moves forward.
Okay, I think the board would like to see the road widening. I think the board would like to see sidewalks, including the house that's there by itself all the way to the Jamison Pulte development.
Next to the
That's
small
something that
line.
you could look at fee-wise, and we could talk about that as part of the fee for the open space. I mean, that could all be part of it.
Part of that, and that's the one thing that I did think of, and we have to look into, is where that legal right of way stands on that individual lot to make sure there's enough space to do that. But certainly all things we would look into.
My only other comment is you are right next to those other townhouses. It is a whole corridor overlay district. So as you plan, try to tie in the same colors, the same
Materials.
decor, same materials. That way it's kind of a seamless
Blend.
blend. Yeah, I was just thinking you put greenhouses, all the rest are white, you know.
Understood, yeah, we understand it's in the quarter overlay, so we'll have to provide those colors and materials to you for review.
Other than that, it's a good use for the property.
I agree, go around the comments as well, there than to discussion areas that.
Kyle's trying to do a house one. Actually, he wants to Starbucks. Michelle, anything? Rob, anything else?
Yes.
Excuse
Any other questions for us?
Can I ask a question of them as a citizen? If that's okay.
Ms. Lefebvre for the rules.
She can ask the question, it's up to her to answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have, two. One, are they like private party buy and they own, or are they gonna be rentals? They're individual lots for each Okay, one. so they're gonna be purchased? Yes. Okay, and if you guys consider the road widening, there's speed bumps in that area, are they gonna be like maintained and if the road is widened? We would have to work with the Okay. township on traffic control and everything in place there. Okay,
If a road is widened where there's a speed table, you would
maintain it.
take.
I know, but there's some that would go and consider they would reevaluate the whole road sometimes and readjust accordingly. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. Appreciate that. One last question for me that I forgot, but that someone mentioned to me the other day is, the intersection of Schoolhouse there, so we have four or three stop signs, right? And I'm assuming that you'll do handicap ramps and everything, crosswalk there.
Yeah, I believe that was a request in the comments for a crosswalk along there. Yes, there is sidewalk across the street
Right.
to that intersection. We did understand that.
My last final question. Anything else? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Forward to seeing you back. It's a school.
Mhm.
We need a motion? Yeah,
No, you're just providing them sketch plans feedback about this. Next item is board policy, general board policy 19, which is the employee fitness room, usage policy. With the first responder fitness room near completion, this board policy dictates usage rules, require liability waiver execution participants. Acceptable.
Sure. No, but
Motion to adopt the board policy generation 19, which serves.
a second, all in favor?
Next is the 2025-2026 Bucks County Consortium Road Materials Bid. Consortium is once again administer our annual road materials bid. We bid these materials as a large group in order to capitalize on economies of scale and get lower prices on commonly used road materials. This year's lowest bidders with travel time factored in are Miller Materials for asphalt and Rico Stone Quarry for 2-lane stem. Acceptable as request of the board.
Any questions? Big motion,
Motion to award the 2025-2026 Bucks County Consortium.
a second, all in favor? Treasurer support.
Would you like me to go?
No, go first. It's okay. All right. So, we often talk about our fund balance. So we wanted to address the healthy municipal fund balance and why it's important. I'm just gonna read this great little thing that we wrote together. Municipalities that do not adequately have fund balances have to take out short-term loans to cover operating losses, which are collecting of the state tax in spring. Those loans carry interest, which the municipality has to pay. Also, they may have to delay capital projects the second half of the year because they have to wait for real estate revenue to come in. In some cases, just talk about how many storms we've had in the past few weeks, right? And those storms were extremely expensive. But having the reserves to pay for them without having to borrow money to follow road is a beautiful thing. Yes, it is. So let's talk about the playground grant, right? Many grants require proof that we have adequate funds to cover the project costs. Oftentimes, the grants require a 15 to 50% municipal match. They are reimbursement only, which means we have to upfront the cost. In those cases, we have to completely front the cost and seek reimbursement after the project is complete. Sometimes that can take up to 6 months. For us, it's not a problem as we are eligible for more grant programs. For a municipality, inadequate fund balances, that can be a problem. In other words, it would be eligible for the grants. This is one of the beautiful things that I like. We are budgeting to receive $469,000 this year in interest earnings from our fund balance in 2025. That's an equivalent to a $2 million property tax increase. A recurring operating shortfall of that size would necessitate a tax increase. And a reminder everybody that we haven't had one in 14 years. Should we need to take out a bond to fund a capital project, we would need to be reinstated. Our fund balance will aid in getting our best bond rating, A or AAA rating. The last thing, future road programs, which, our roads are getting older, are gonna get more expensive. And then they will have to be completely rebuilt versus just repaved. So I applaud our manager and our township assistant Becky for keeping us very fiscally sound.
Thank you. So the treasurer's report for the month of February, expenditures outpaced revenues by $90,287. Real estate transfers posted $44,606. Building permits posted $48,665. Earned income tax posted $505,136. Local service tax posted $42,059. Fund balances for each fund as follows: general fund $14,272,159. Firehouse and equipment $728,442. For machinery, $38,749. Capital projects fund $383,050. Highway aid fund $8,918. Parks and recreation $801,604. Parks and recreation capital fund $93,589. Capital reserve $89,429. For a total of $16,415,960.
Motion.
Motion to approve the treasurer's report for February 2025.
Second, all in favor?
The last item is bill payments for March 3rd. I request the bill payments totaling $119,829.83. And for March 17th, totaling $253,386.03, subject to audit.
Any question? Motion.
Motion to approve bill payments for 3/3/2025 and 3/17.
I second, all in favor?
Aye.
Let's report.
I have nothing to report.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have one item, and that is escrow release number 3 for the development at 1549 Stony Road, otherwise known as land development number 19-02. We are recommending the reduction in the financial security in the amount of $138,390.
Motion.
Motion to approve the escrow release of the land development 19-02, 1549 Stony Road.
Second, all in favor? Any old business? Any new business? Any public comment?
Well, so, you know, the manufacturer, so. Continue to go, I'm on Sarah's route, but I communicate often with the residents of Stony. And I drove by after surgery today, or the Shadoa property. And I know a resident came here yesterday, worried about drainage onto the neighboring properties and water retention, and I get that it would flow sort of back into a creek. But I gotta say, looking at how that's set up right now, I know it's not complete. I echo his sentiments. As someone who's been in the fire service for a long time, seen erosion, worked construction for a period of time. I do think that, as the land settles, you're gonna have major erosions to the neighboring properties. And in the past, not criticizing, but in the past, we haven't used foresight for whatever reason on certain properties when developing. Like when we didn't put the dedicated turnout or that Wawa, and there was 40 accidents, and then we got not put it in. I really think we're doing ourselves a disservice by not doing more studies on this and making them pay for it. So we just released them $113,000 or something like that today. $138,000. So they can use some of their $138,000. Make sure that they're not going to damage anyone's basements nearby or anyone's property value nearby with water erosion. Because I'm just looking at it.
I see what they were talking about in the meeting. I just vehemently disagree with them that there's not gonna be any water problems. I guarantee you, there's gonna be water problems within 10, 15 years.
I could work with, Michelle and CKS and their inspectors, go over, what's going on site as well as the plans to ensure that type of thing does not happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the slopes, like, it's nothing what they mentioned in the meeting, just from seeing it. I mean, and I had her stop and I literally got in the car fresh off a nerve block to look at it. And I'm like, this is going to mess up someone's property nearby. The only other issue is that I know the township, and I know you're pretty good at this, Con. Some residents said that they weren't notified about the blasting, and that upset them. I don't know, they were kind of far from it, but I know they lived on the end of Stony Road, so they got freaked out when the explosions happened. I don't know if we just sent out mail or how we did it, but they apparently didn't
Mail
get the letters.
was sent out, several different ways. We sent out regular mail, it was posted in the newspaper, it was posted on the township website.
Yeah,
We hit all the avenues,
so the last 4 houses apparently didn't get their letters, so some might be with the post office. I know ever since Jim retired, we don't get our mailing we used to. So I missed Jim, so, but yeah, thank you.
sure.
TJ, just FYI, I drive by and stop every day and look at it too, so.
Yeah, I'm just
All aware of what's going on.
I'm looking at it and I'm just like, it's not what they're saying in the meetings.
We'll pay attention to it. Anything else? No, do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Thank you all. Good.